in child's pose. Across the spaces, from your shoulders to shoulder, from your hip to hip, rib cage to rib cage. I'll have my head elevated, keep your head down, listen to the cues, and do the best you can do. That's all anybody ever needs from this. Reach your arms out in front of you and press your hips back, but don't make it too active just yet. Just start to kind of notice what's going on in the body today. How are we feeling? What are we feeling? And then, sometimes it's always a big surprise when we get on our mat. How far we can take us and how little we might be going today. It kind of just depends on you. Soften your belly between the thighs and allow your thoughts to start stilling and thinking about your breath rather than everything external. There's so much that we could be dwelling on right now. So take this internally and find a little bit of peace and calmness. And when you feel ready, begin to extend your arms a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more power through the heel of the hand, pushing the hip back a little bit more. Looking for space from our shoulders to ears, from our hip to hip, from our rib cage. Just find a little bit more. And then make your arms the most active they've been thus far. Press a little bit more back into your heels, a little bit more through the heel of the hand. One more breath. And then draw the heel of the hand towards the knees. Just stay back on your heels for a second and feel all this action under the arms and towards the core. Pull the belly to the spine. And then release, heels of the hands push forward. So it's almost like we're doing a small little cat-cow here. Pull the heel of the hand towards the knees, round your back ever so slightly, just enough to feel. And then inhale, dip your belly, arch your back a little bit more or lengthen your spine. On the next one, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to rise up to our shins. Walk your hands, keep them a little bit further in front of you. Bring your knees under your hips and pull the belly to the spine as you open and spread the shoulders apart. On the inhale, tuck your toes, arch your back, and look forward. So our arms are still a little bit out in front of us. Exhale, round and curl, release your toes, push down through the heel of the hands, round the upper back, pull the belly in, try to reach your tailbone towards your hamstrings. Inhale, dip your belly, arch your back. Now walk your hands a little bit further in front of you until you can get maybe your chin and chest to the floor. See if you can raise the forearms off the floor still, or maybe you creep up to your fingertips for that. If going to your chin is too much, then put your forehead down. Inhaling and exhaling, just keeping everything else but your hands off the floor. One more breath here. And then walk your hands back under your shoulders, round your spine in a cat pose, taking the tailbone underneath you. And now push the heel of the hand down to open up that upper back a little bit more. And then inhale, come to neutral, cross your left ankle in front of your right ankle, and have a seat on your heels behind you. And just adjust yourself so that you're sitting in front of your sitting bones, or maybe you're sitting on a block or some books or sheets, towels, blankets, roll them up. Place your hands on top of your knees, lift your chest up, pull your heart through. And then I want you to press your knees down, or your thighs. Just press down. It may feel a little challenging to some of our hips. And keep that action in the arms. Press the shoulders down, press the legs down. Tuck your chin towards your chest and just release your neck and shoulders. Keep pressing down with your arms and draw the right ear towards the right shoulder. Not shoulder to ear to shoulder. Stretch the left side of your neck out. Keep your left hand pressing down on your left thigh. Take your right hand and bring the ear towards the shoulder. And now think of keeping the action in the leg as you release the left hand and reach it out to the left side. Reach the fingers long, reach the right ear towards the shoulder. And then take your left arm behind you on the floor, fingertips touching the floor. Release your right arm up in the air, turn your head and shoulders forward. As you exhale, twist outside your left thigh with your right hand, pressing down and away. One more breath. Left arm comes up, we lean up and over to the right side. Keep your tailbone to the floor and use your hand against your thigh to give you a little bit of traction and a little bit of rotation. Left arm crosses over right leg. Inhale yourself to center. Exhale, chin and chest, round yourselves back, relax the shoulders down. As you inhale, open up your chest, open up your arms, take them back behind you, fingers on the floor, chest lifts up. Lift your hips up, push your hips towards the front of your mat. If the hips don't want to lift up, that's okay, don't lift them up. Let the hips come back down, relax, and shake out your legs and put the right leg in front of the left leg. If you did it the other way around, go ahead. So switch to the other side. Place your hands on top of your thighs, press down. So think about pressing your shoulders down, but pressing your knees down as well. Finding a little bit more length through the torso. Good. Bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Keep pressing down. Now the right hand's going to stay as the left hand draws that left ear towards the shoulder, not shoulder towards ear. Create space from the ear all the way down. Keep pressing down with the right arm. Good. Inhale. And exhale, take your right arm now and imagine that you're still pressing on your leg and reach it out to the right side. Reach your fingers long. Find some space. And then bring the right arm behind you, fingers tenting the floor. Lengthen your spine, take the left arm up, head comes to neutral. Left arm outside, right thigh, twist. Press down and give yourself length at the same time. Inhale and exhale. Right arm comes up and over as we lean to the left side. And then take the right arm to the left thigh, lift your chest up. Exhale, reach back, curl the chin to the chest, belly to the spine. Inhale back up, open up the arms, take them behind you, fingers pointing in. If that doesn't work, point them in another direction. And then maybe lift your hips up off the floor. This isn't for everybody, so I understand that. Honor it where you are. And then empty the breath, come on down, lean back and shake out your legs. And let's go ahead and take the feet onto the floor a little bit wider than maybe even your mat. Prop yourself up on your hands and come into a low squat, bringing your hands inside the thighs, and then press your knees and arms together. Place your palms or your fingertips on the floor. Pull your belly in, round your spine, head comes down. Just look upward towards your navel point and see if you can pull it all the way back to your back. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Plant your palms. Squeeze your knees and elbows or triceps towards each other. Keep that action as you shift forward, lift your heels, and then place your heels to the floor, turn your toes forward. Keep your palms pressing onto the floor. So press through your palms and bend your knees. Let your head come down. Inhale and exhale. So feel like your upper back spreads apart. I don't care how bent your knees are. One more breath here, pressing like you're going to go into a handstand, but we're not. Well, maybe some of you will. And then climb to your fingertips, lengthen your spine. Place your hands on the hip creases, right between your hip and your torso, and rise up to standing, or your leg, I should say. And then bring your hands on your back and just a little massage and maybe a little bit of an extended spine. And then stand up nice and tall. Your feet are still wide. Arms come down by your side. Palms face open. Arms reach all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, press the ear down, bend the knees, and come halfway down like a tabletop. Crown of the head and tailbone in the same line. Take your left arm to the floor. Float the right arm back, but don't touch the floor with your left arm. Stay active through your center. Right arm goes as far back as can. Maybe you look up, maybe you look down. Inhale back to center, my knees are bent. right arm down. My airplane is banking. It's taking itself on its side a little bit more. One more breath. Good. Inhale, arms come out. Lead with your heart to stand all the way up. Bring your hands up over your head. Maybe there's a little back bend, and then fold right back down through center, letting the hands touch the floor. Head down towards the floor. Halfway lift on your fingers or shins. Lengthen your spine or a block. Exhale, fold and round your spine one more time. Rolling up through your spine this time. Bring the arms overhead on the inhale. Exhale, arms out, shoulder height. Bend your knees one more time. Come to tabletop with your torso. Crown of the head forward. Remember, I'm looking up so I can see you and you can hear me better, but your head should be in the same line with your spine. Left arm flies behind you. Right arm comes up. You're hovering the arm off the floor. You're firing up through your center. Inhale back through center one more time. Right arm down, left arm up. Just feel the action in your center for this. Breathe in, breathe out. And then come back to center. Inhale. Rise all the way up. Exhale, hands down by your side. Roll your shoulders back and around. And take a little walk to the top of your mat, bringing your feet about hips width apart. Ground yourself, tuck your tailbone under, roll your shoulders back and around. Breathe in and breathe out. So reach your fingers down, press your shoulders down. So like I'm pulling your shoulders towards your feet. So you've got to create the action yourself. And then in the legs, they're strong and firm, so they're pushing up away from the floor. So as I'm pulling down with my fingers, I'm pulling up with my legs. Tuck the tailbone underneath you, crown of the head to the sky. Keep the action in the arms for one more breath. And then stretch the arms overhead, interlace your fingers, turn the palms inside out, lift up and back. And then exhale, come down to the floor all the way, bend the knees as much as you need to, hands on either side of your feet. Lengthen your spine, inhale. Empty the breath, exhale. Fold your head towards your shins. One more time, inhale, halfway lift. Bend the knees and plant the palms and step to a high plank pose. Adjust yourself so shoulders are over wrists. Upper back is slightly rounded, belly is lifted, knees are lifted. Look forward. Look forward, that's the key. Go to your knees or go halfway down. Roll over your toes or on your belly, upward dog. So you can modify anytime, you can add to it. Downward dog is where we'll all meet if you're not. Ready for downward dog? Child's pose again. Lift up onto your toes. And lower your heels to the floor. Chest towards your thighs. Shake your head out yes and no. Maybe you walk your dog, right leg, left leg. And then make your way back to center. High up on your tippy toes. Bend your knees and look at your hands. Take little steps to walk your feet to your hands, top of the mat. Rise up halfway, hands on floor, shins or blocks. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, rise to stand, stop halfway. We've been here before. Feet are closer this time, left arm down, right arm up. Don't move the hips. Maybe you don't get as much satisfaction in the waistline. Inhale back to center, right arm down, left arm up. Good, don't shift your hips off, just go as little as you can do, or as you need to do that. Come back to center, arms out. Lift up to standing, bring the arms up. Inhale, interlace your fingers, turn the palms inside out. Lift out of your torso, maybe you do a little back bend. Exhale, come forward, release the hands to the floor, hands on floor, shins or blocks. Halfway lift, inhale. Melt, fold, exhale, head to shins. One more time, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, step to a high plank. Lower through your low plank your way. Upward dog or cobra. So if you need to, you just drop your knees to the floor first. Downward dog, hips up in the air. So this practice is for everyone. We can always find something we can do, even if it's a modification, especially if it's a modification. Another breath here, high on your toes. Bend your knees. You make your way towards the front of the mat, however you get there. Stepping, walking, jumping, flying. Some of you go through handstand. Come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Arms out to the side, bend the knees. Sit back in a chair pose. Take your left arm down. So a little bit more sinking in the hips this time. Reach your left arm down, right arm up. Maybe the left arm touches the floor. Maybe it's on a block, or maybe it's still hovering. Come back to center, other side. Right arm down. Good, just feel the abs working out here. Come back to center. Now sit back in your heels a little bit deeper. Reach the arms by your ears. Press your heels to the floor, thighs parallel to the floor, and then push down to stand all the way up. Bring your hands to your heart center. Arms by your side. Settle in, take a few breaths here. Inhale. And exhale. Bend your knees, sweep the floor. Utkatasana chair pose, like you're sitting into a chair. Good job, guys. Hang your head forward, folding. Let it go. Halfway lift, inhale. Step, step, or jump through plank. Lower to your knees if you need to. Upward dog. Downward dog, hips up in the air. Good. Now, come to a plank. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Left knee to the floor, right foot in front of you. So make sure of two things. Your knee is over your ankle, and you're not on top of the back knee. So if your right heel is lifted, you're too far forward. Just shift your hips back or move your foot forward. Breathe here. Press your hands on top of your thigh, just like we did earlier, pushing down and now forward, and pull that left hip forward. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Find length in your spine, crown of the head reaching up. Breathe in. Empty out. Go a little bit deeper into that press. As you empty the next breath, bring your hands to the floor. Take your left toes, tuck them under, and lift your left knee up. Spin your left foot on its side, and draw the right hip towards midline. So some of you might have to widen your legs. I notice that I do a little bit more. But you're you might be heel to heel or heel to instep. Hands back on your thighs now. Shoulders down, pressing your knee forward and hips down. Back toes are on the floor. Stay here, straighten your leg for a breath, and then bend the knee. Good, now let's stretch the arms up overhead. Maybe some of you will have your palms touching, but if that's too much for your shoulders, your arms are separated, maybe even a little bit forward, and make the rest of it about a little bit of a back bend. One more breath. Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1, or A. Empty the breath, hands to the floor. Step back to a high plank. Lower through Chaturanga, your way, on your knees or on your toes. Upward dog or on your belly. Downward dog, hips up in the air. Inhale to a high plank. Lower the right knee. Step the left foot forward. So set yourself up, knee over the ankle, and you're not on top of your right patella, you're slightly above it, right towards the bottom of the thigh. Hands to your thighs. Press down and forward with that left hip, or with your hands on that left thigh, I should say. Breathe. Keep sinking down. This is the world's greatest stretch. Now you know why, right? Breathe. Relax those shoulders. One more breath. Good. Exhale the hands to the floor. Tuck the right toes underneath. Lift the knee up. Spin the right foot on its side and kind of eyeball it before you even come out to the floor. Heel to heel, heel to instep, or wider. Draw your left hip in. Climb to your fingertips. Hands to your thigh. Lift your torso. Same thing we've been doing with our hands, pressing down and forward. Back toes turn forward, shoulders and hips are squared. Remember yesterday we put our hands on our hip creases or our hip points, and we were aware of where they're facing. So we're going to continue with that. Keep pressing, keep bending that front knee, back out of it just a little bit, and then rebend. I think I might have done that when the arms were up. So let's bring those arms over your head. Inhale, it's up to you whether you touch your palms together. It's really up to your shoulders. Shoulders and hips are still facing forward. Breathe in, one more breath. As you empty the breath, hands to floor. Step back to a high plank. You can skip it and go right to dog or child's pose, or you can take your vinyasa, lifting through upward and downward facing dogs. And stay here and breathe. Settle in. It's not enough for you. Go to your knees. Inhale and exhale. arms towards midline. And then come high on your toes, bend your knees, look forward, make your way to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Empty the breath, fold forward. Now bend your knees and sit into your chair, Utkatasana. Exhale, press through your feet, rise to stand. Hands come through center, arms by your side. Surya Namaskar B, one breath per movement. Follow along. If you get lost, just find a downward dog. It's in your future there. Inhale, bend your knees, sweep the floor, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, hang your head. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, move through your vinyasa, plank, chaturanga, up dog, and downward dog, or you go to downward dog and skip it all, or you add in middle. Right foot forward, left foot turns, hips draw in, arms come up, inhale, warrior one. Good enough. Exhale all the way down through your breath, through that push-up if you're doing it, otherwise go right to your downward dog. Nobody will know the difference, hips up in the air. Left foot steps forward, help it out if you need to. Right foot turns, eyeball it before you come up for your warrior one pose. Exhale, take it through chaturanga with the same exhaling breath. So you come down or to your knees, upward dog, good. Downward dog, breathe. Inhale and exhale. Perhaps chaturanga is one of our most challenging poses in our vinyasa practice. So it's really important that you take the opportunity to modify it if you need to. High on your toes, bend your knees, look towards the front of your mat, make your way up there. Halfway lift, inhale. Empty the breath, exhale. Bend the knees, chair pose, Utkatasana. Drive to stand all the way up. Hands come through heart center. Back by your side, we'll do one more of those. Surya Namaskar B, Sun Salutation B. It includes our warrior ones. Inhale, bend your knees, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana, hang your head. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, right into chaturanga. Again, you can skip that and go right into your downward dog or child's pose. Downward dog is where I'm going to meet you. Right foot steps forward, left foot turns on its side. Warrior one, inhale. Empty the breath, chaturanga, that's your push-up, or you skip it right to dog, upward dog, and downward dog. On your time, left foot comes forward, right foot turns, warrior one, arms come up. Exhale through that vinyasa sequence, and we all meet back in downward facing dog. Hips up, and breathe. See if you can relax your shoulders here, press your chest towards your thighs, let your head just soften. Breathe in, and breathe out. High on your tippy toes. Bend your knees, make your way to the top of the mat, halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Rise to stand, inhale. Hands to prayer, arms by your side. Good, now let's take it back to chair pose. Inhale, bend your knees, lift your heart. Bring your hands to your heart center. Before you fold your elbow to your knee, lengthen your spine, rotate. Then take your left elbow outside your right knee. Drop your seat so your hips and knees are level. Thumbs to your sternum or your heart. Right elbow points to the sky. Draw the hips towards midline. Drop your seat down. One more breath. If you have an open arm, feel free to take it. Look down at the floor. You can keep your arms open or hands in prayer. And somehow I want you to step that left foot to the back of the mat. Doesn't matter to me if you have to put your hands and your knee down to get there. And then keep the twist going. So if you're not in the twist, bring your hands back to prayer. Inhale. Keep drawing hips to midline. Exhale. And then inhale your way to standing up. Water wheel, right arm back, left arm forward. Gaze to your back hand or your back thumb. So your right foot should be forward. Right arm is back. Exalt that water wheel, right arm down, left arm up. As you inhale, let's open up warrior two. So turn to the left side of your mat. Right foot is still forward. Bend that right knee. Good. Back off of it for a breath. And then rebend. Pull your left arm back, right arm forward. Breathe in, breathe out. Spiral your hips open. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Flip your palms, reach forward. Left arm down, right arm up. Good. Inhale back to your warrior two. Exhale, let's turn it to the back of the room. Warrior two on the other side. Left arm back, left arm forward, right arm back. Breathe in. Flip your palms, reach forward. Right arm down, left arm up, reverse your warrior. So you're facing your left foot to the back of your mat. Breathe in. Anything you do with this right hand is yours, right? You choose what you'd like to do. Inhale back to warrior two at the front of your mat. Right leg bends. Release the breath. Windmill around. Step back, high plank. Low plank. Upward and downward facing dogs. Hips up in the air. Bring your feet to touch at the back of your mat. And float that right leg off the floor. Step it all the way through. Secure yourself. Square your hips. When you're ready, maybe you need your hands on your thigh first, or maybe the arms can come all the way back up, crescent lunge. Oops. Drop your back hip down. Good. Bring your hands to your heart. Lengthen your spine, reach forward with your torso. Rotate before you come down, and then left elbow outside right knee. Breathe in, and empty the breath. Look down at your right toes. Make your way back up to both feet at the front of the mat in your chair twist. An option here is to stay, or if you'd like to take side crow, arms down on the floor. Maybe you don't even have that right hip on your tricep. Maybe you do. Maybe you play with your legs. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're thinking, what the heck is she talking about? Not for me. Stay in your chair twist. And if you're up in the air doing something else, make your way back to your chair twist. And then come center and fold over your legs. Open up your feet. Climb to your fingertips. Exhale, fold. Lift your toes up. Slide your hands underneath your feet. Wrap your big toe around your wrist. Look forward, inhale. Exhale, fold elbows out to the side and head to the shins. Shift a little weight forward, like you're going to feel like you're falling forward. You're not. Breathe. This is just to take care of any wrist tension that we've had between chaturangas, planks, and our side throws. Lengthen your spine, inhale. Release your hands from your feet. Lengthen your spine, hands to the hip creases, rise up to standing. Maybe you do a little back bend as well. Heel toe your feet together, arms by your side. Inhale to chair pose. Exhale, hands to prayer. Lengthen your torso, rotate your torso, right arm outside left thigh. Sit down as low as you can comfortably, making sure that right hip doesn't, or that right knee doesn't sneak forward. Breathe, inhale. And exhale, look over your left elbow. Keep lengthening your cervical spine. If you exalt, great. You might want to try going from an exalted arm back into your lunge twist. So take a breath in. Wherever you are, look down and step right foot back. However you get there doesn't matter to me, shouldn't matter to you. It's just the journey on our way. Inhale and exhale. Find a little bit more rotation in the torso. One more breath. Inhale, rise up, water wheel. So we're facing the left side of our mat. Left leg is forward, so it's a little restricted. Breathe in, breathe out. And exalt your arms. And then we pass through water wheel into warrior two, facing the right side of the mat. Make the adjustments you need to. Left arm forward, right arm back. Shoulders over hips. Breathe. Inhale. Back out of it for a moment. And rebend. Find a little bit more space. Stay strong in the back leg. Breathe in. Good. As you exhale, let's take it to the back side of the mat. Warrior two, right leg bends. Pull back with your left arm. I think I left that arm reversed, so let's go ahead and reverse that one. Lift up. Right knee bends. Back to warrior two as you inhale. And then back to your warrior two at the front of your mat. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. One more breath. Windmill down, face the front of your mat. Step back, let's take a vinyasa. Just to kind of clear the slate. Lift up and back. Don't let those shoulders dip down. Hips up. Feet together, left leg in the air, nice and high. Look in between your hands, left leg comes through. Rise up, however you get there, hands on your thigh or rise straight up, crescent lunge. Arms up. Hips face forward, beautiful guys. You know, you can do anything you want if you put your mind to it, and if sitting on your mat is one of those options, good for you. Bring your hands to your heart center. Tilt forward just in the torso. Keep that length as you rotate. Right arm outside, left thigh, thumbs to heart. Breathe. Come on the ball of the back foot. Feel that left hip nice and strong. Look down at your left toes and make your way back to the front of your mat with both legs. And the option is to stay in this twist or place your hands on the floor in some variation. Get your hips above your triceps. Again, some of you will only be on one tricep. Some of you will extend your legs in any direction. And some of you will say, what the heck is she thinking? Or any other variations that you have. So take your time. If you're flying, come down slowly. Back to your chair twist, everybody. And then fold over your legs, straighten them out, separate your feet hips width apart. Second set of Pada Hastasana, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, fold over your legs, lift your toes, and slide your hands underneath your feet. Wrap your big toes around your wrists, look forward, inhale. Exhale, fold all the way down, head towards shins, elbows towards the outside edges of your mat. One more breath. Halfway lift on the inhale. Pull, push at the same time. Release your hands from your feet, lengthen. Hands to your hip creases, rise up to stand. Hands on your back, massage it out. If you're not at the front of your mat, just take a couple steps, bring your arms by your side. Let's do a vinyasa to clear the slate, as they say. Bring the arms overhead, inhale. Interlace your fingers, palms up to the sky, drop your shoulders down, ribs towards your hips. Exhale, open fly, release your hands to the floor, shins or blocks. Halfway lift, inhale. Chaturanga Dandasana, exhale. Skip it, add to it. You do you. The one thing that's so frustrating in a yoga class is when you think you can't do something that the teacher tells you to do. It doesn't matter. If you can't do it, you modify it. You find a way to make it work for you. Bring your feet together. Right leg in the air, bend your left knee. Open your right hip, and then straighten the left leg. And then maybe you bend that top leg, foot, knee, ankle, make some rotations. Explore, keep the right arm pressing down evenly. Inhale. Now keep your knee bent, but turn yourself back to your dog. Stay in dog, round and curl your spine, knee to forehead. And then shift forward in the same plank position. Take your right leg underneath your left arm, shoot it out to the side. You can stay here or open up your left arm, dancer's bridge. Pull that right hip up in the air as you arch back. Breathe in, breathe out. Left arm down. Stay here. Maybe you take a little scissor push-up. Bring the right leg back up in the air, kick it up nice and high. Open the right hip over the left hip, keeping the weight for now evenly distributed. And as you start to peer over your left arm or under it, maybe you float that right leg to the floor behind you, and then keep the left leg straight as you arch back. Pushing down to your hands and your feet. You don't have to do these poses. Right arm down, right leg in the air. Right knee to your chest, round and curl. Now step your right foot just halfway up your mat. Bring your hands to your feet, square up your hips, and then straighten the front leg, maybe shorten the stance even more. Pull right hip back, left hip forward. This is where blocks might come in handy for some of you. So I want you to feel free to use it on the inside or outside of your foot. Pull the hips towards midline. Hands on your hips one more time. And rise up to standing. So like we've been doing all day yesterday as well. Place your hands on your hip bones, your ASIS. And then just adjust it so they both point forward. All the headlights are forward. Good. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, bring your hands through prayer. And rest your hands on the floor, shins or block. Lengthen your spine. If you can, take the block on the outside of the right leg. Move your left hand to it, right hand to your sacrum. Rise up high so you lengthen your spine, and then rotate just like we did in those twists before. You want to keep the length in the spine before you rotate or fold. And then once you've got the twist that you think you're ready for, stacking your shoulders, squaring your hips, maybe that right arm floats up. Reach up with your right hand, down with your left. Squeeze those legs toward midline. Breathe in, breathe out. One more big, healthy breath here. Get some juice into those hips as you exhale. Bring the right hand on the inside if it's not on the inside of that leg or on a block. And now your hip can open up as the left arm reaches up. But stay nice and lengthened in your spine. Good. Bring your right arm out in front of your right leg. Bend your knee, maybe your hands on a block, and float your left leg off the floor, Ardha Chandrasana. Left leg up, left arm up, stacking shoulders, stacking hips. Breathe. You can also take this to your right knee and balance on the knee. Another big breath. As you empty the breath, look down and square your hips. Bring your right knee, your left knee to your chest, rounded curl. Kick the leg behind you, rise onto your fingertips. Warrior 3 on your fingertips, leg behind you. And step back, low lunge, might be short, and into a downward dog. You're just here for a moment. If your body is screaming for a vinyasa, take it. Take that flow, or skip it. But we'll stay in downward dog if you're done. Inhale, bring your feet together. Lift your left leg in the air and bend your right knee. Keep your weight in both the left and right arms. Breathe in. And then open up the hip and straighten the right leg. But keep the left arm carrying some of your weight. Bend the knee. And maybe make some ankle, hip, knee rotations. Breathe. Inhale and exhale. Now you can stay here if you want. You can follow that foot behind you to the floor behind you and find a dancer's bridge. Lift your hips up. Breathe in, breathe out. I think I took this a little out of sequence, but we're good. One more breath. As you exhale, turn it back around to the center. Left leg in the air. Bend the knee. Bring the knee to downward dog into your chest, round and curl. Then bring it into a high plank. Pull it up. And step it underneath the right arm and open up that dancer's bridge. Lift the left side of your body up. Pull that left hip up. Open up your heart. An extra breath. Right hand down. Maybe you do a scissor push-up. And then release it back behind you. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Turn it squared again. Round and curl the spine. Now step your left foot halfway up your mat. Walk your hands back to it. Straighten your leg. Bring the right leg up a little bit more. If you have a block, bring it towards you. You'll decide whether you want it inside or outside or in front. Square your shoulders and hips. Bring your hands to your hips. Rise up to stand. And then just adjust, right? You might have to widen or shorten your stance, but you're not on a tightrope, so you want to make sure that your feet are hips width apart. And our hips and our headlights all face forward. Raise the arms up, inhale. Exhale, hands to prayer. Come down. Right hand comes inside, outside foot, shin or block. Left hand to your sacrum. Inhale, lengthen. So work at keeping your hips level and square. Keep the crown of the head and the tailbone in the same line. As you lengthen through your spine first, then you rotate. Left shoulder over right. Squeeze everything towards midline. If you have that, open up the left arm. Maybe you look up at your arm. Maybe you don't. Keep the length in your spine. So keep reaching the crown of the head away from the tailbone in the same line. Right? That's how we're going to keep that length in our spine. One more breath. As you empty the breath, left hand comes inside. Right arm comes to your hip or opens up to the right side. You can shift the weight a little bit off of that hip into the right side a little bit on this particular twist. If you can, keep your right arm up, look down at your left leg, and bring the left hand in front or to the side. As you float the right arm up, we come into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon balance. Pull that right leg out of your hip. So it's like you're lifting and pulling at the same time, creating a nice, long, lean right leg. Left leg is very long and lean and strong. They're both powerful. Breathe in. Breathe out. Your choice where you look. On the emptying breath, right hand floats down. Square your hips. Warrior 3 with your fingers on the floor. If you want to float them on, that's okay too, right? Whatever float your boat today, float your warrior. And then soften the front leg and step back to a low lunge, and then find a downward dog, hips up in the air. Rise up onto your toes. Take that extra vinyasa here. Come through halfway, up and down dogs. And breathe. Once again, the feet come together. Right leg comes in the air. Right knee comes to your chest. Right knee comes to right wrist. Set up for your pigeon. Tuck your toes underneath you. Snuggle that hip back. Okay, Rach, for you. Lift your chest up. So tuck your back toes under for a moment. Lift the knee up. Snuggle that hip back. Rain is really going to start falling right now. Right foot flexes. Now you can have that right hip on the floor as long as you're not losing the connection with this left hip. So some of you can do that, but keep it square. Sit on a block if you need to. So you can prop yourself up if you're having tight hips and knee issues. And then stay in an upright position as you reach your arms forward. So create length in your spine here. Breathe. Inhale. Can you creep your hands a little bit more forward without collapsing? Breathe in, breathe out. And then see if you want to take it any further, taking your hands and chest to the floor. Some of you, if you have a block, this is a great place to put it under your forehead. If you just don't have the total connection, stay there and breathe. I'm going to take a little sneak of water. Breathe in, breathe out. Take another breath here, everybody. And then bring yourself back up to a long arm, long chest. Let your right hip sink to the floor if it's not there. Walk in a little bit more. We're going to turn to the long left side of our mat. It doesn't have to be a huge split here, so you can draw that left leg in a little bit closer. Right heel is in line with your left inner thigh. Bring your left hand outside or inside is what I mean, or grab your big toe with your left hand, right arm comes up. Right hip stays grounded. Lift up and over. Some of you will be able to get both hands onto that left leg without collapsing the left side of your torso. So as you're pulling the right arm to the left, pull the right hip to the floor. One more breath. Good. Inhale, reach up, right hand behind you, sweep the left arm up, push your hips forward, and circle the arm back and around. As you come down, left arm outside, left leg, right arm up, and rotate so that you get your arm on the outside of the leg. Maybe it's your shin, maybe it's your foot, maybe it's your thigh. And if you can grab a hold of something on that left side, so I'm just going to turn this way for a moment, and bring your right ear towards your knee. Left arm behind you, maybe it binds all the way inside the right thigh. Pull against your foot and push against your hand at the same time so you feel this really long lengthening in the right side. One more breath. Inhale, rise up, pull against your foot. Release your hands. So now you're going to bring that left leg on the outside of the right knee. Sit both hips on the floor, not your feet. Left arm behind you, right arm up. Same twist now, a little bit, maybe a little bit deeper as you look over your left side. There's always an option for an arm balance here as well. If you should choose to take it, you'll bring your hands down on the floor. And it's almost the same thing we did before, where except now we have a cross leg. All right, so see if you want to play with that. It's your option. Another big breath. Look to your right. And release all the way to your right. Come back to center. Now, turn so that your front is, or your body is facing front, your left leg is on the floor. Plant your fingers on the floor, lift yourself up. Kick your right leg in the air for any height of any, either a standing single leg split, vinyasa, or maybe one or two hands on the floor. Or maybe this is where you practice your handstand kicks. So some of you like that, some of you have the space, some of you go for it, Rach, if you want. One more breath. And as you exhale, we're going to bring that right leg back to the floor. Lower the right knee to the floor. Heel toe your left leg to your right hand and bring your left knee down. Tuck your right toes underneath you. Snuggle them back and move them towards the center. You might need a block underneath your hip. Stay squared. So stay lifted nice and tall. Good. Breathe in. And then walk your arms out a little bit. Get as deep as you can. Yeah. Take it again. Reach out. So find as much length in your spine before you take it to the floor, if you're taking it to the floor. Breathe in and empty out as much as you can. So this is the part where we start to release a little bit more. Square shoulders, square hips. Let go of any thoughts or distractions that are in your mind, or as the dogs walk in front of us, the cats walk in front of us. We go through. Couple more breaths here. How much can you let go? How much can you soften your pelvic muscles, your gluteal muscles, just to release? One more breath. Bring your hands to the floor, long in front of you. Keep that little back bend going on. And then if your left hip is not on the floor, go ahead and place it on the floor. And we're going to spin to the right, long side of the mat. So taking your right leg out to the side, square up your shoulders and hips. And then we're going to turn towards the right side of the leg. Right arm comes up. Hook the toes with your thumb, bring the arm inside or outside. You can also put a block on the outside of your leg, or even on the inside to help you. Right, your choice. And then the left arm can come up and over, and again, some of you can grab the left arm to the right. I'm not one of you, but it's in my thoughts. Keep pressing that left hip down, keep pulling against your toes so you get that rotation. Breathe in, breathe out. Find your maximum length without falling off your edge. On the inhale, rise up, left arm down, right arm circles up, back and around. And as we come back to the floor, right arm once again. So you reach to the outside of your foot, shin, or ankle, wherever you can. Bring your left ear towards your right knee. And if you have the space, right arm behind you, and twist. So I think about, I'm pulling against my foot, and I'm pushing against my hand at the same time. So feel the difference when you actually start to engage as much muscle as you can in these poses. One more breath. Good, on the inhaling breath. So we're going to go back here for a second. We're going to take that right leg, come back up on the inhaling breath. Take the right leg to the outside of the left. Aww. Hey Rach, I hope you're hearing the same thing I'm hearing. Right arm behind you, left arm up. And twist outside your right thigh. If you guys are hearing this song, it's Angel by John Cicada. And Rachel was in his video for this when she was 3 years old. Inhale. Happy birthday. Exhale, twist. Maybe you're going to go into that arm balance, lifting your hips up and resting on top of your triceps if that's where you want to go for this morning. Just because I said it doesn't mean you have to do it. Good. Now, release it to your left side. Turn to face the front of the mat with the right leg in front of you. Climb to your fingertips and lift up so your left leg comes in the air for your variation of a standing split or perhaps handstand practice. Hands can grab the foot. 1 or 2 hands can grab the foot. Working that left leg high in the sky, pressing down through the right foot, finding length. And do some do some handstand hops if that's in your practice today. One more breath. As you exhale, step back with your left leg, step back with your right leg. High plank, listen here. We're going to shift forward and lower the hips to the floor. So we're in a kind of a hybrid, not quite an up dog, not quite a cobra, just not quite a seal, just bringing your chest forward. And then push back, open your knees, child's pose. Lift your hips, reach them back to the back of the mat. Take your hands in between your legs. Bring your right ear to the mat. Let your shoulders release open. And turn the proverbial yogic other cheek. And then return to center. Reach your arms away from your legs now. Rise up to your hands and knees. Walk your hands to your knees. Bring your hands on your back. So our back bend practice today will be in the form of camel. Tuck your toes under. Hands on your back, elbows squeeze together. Lift your heart up. Good. So I want you to follow your right hand and grab your right ankle. If you don't need your toes tucked, great. Take your left hand to your left ankle and then push your hips forward. So from the side, so I grab my feet, okay, great, but my back's collapsed. So now I push my hips forward so I create that nice arched back. Okay, so this is a back bend, yeah? If you choose not to do this, feel free to go to a bridge or wheel. Let your head drop back if it feels okay. Bring your hands to your heart, and then rise up. Sit on your heels. Bring your knees a little closer together. Good. Reach your arms all the way up. Palms together, thumbs crossed, biceps by the ears. Inhale. And as you exhale, come forward, resting your pinky side of your hand on the floor. Inhale, biceps stay by your ears as you come back up. Release your hands to your heels, chin to your chest, forehead to your knees, crown of the head to the floor, hips lift off your heels, round and curl. Pull against your heels, spread your upper shoulders open. No weight in your head, guys. Put the weight into the top of the foot or the shins and create that rounded spine, just the opposite of what we do with our camel. And find child's pose one more time. Gently roll yourself to sitting. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Release the hips. Flex your feet, arms out in front of you. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, bring your chin to your chest, round your spine. Roll down slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Take your time, take your time, take your time. As you empty the breath, hug your knees into your chest. Take right leg over left leg, grab ankle, shins or toes, tuck your tailbone to the floor. Arms reach out to the side. Shift your hips right and let your knees fall left. If the cross is too much for your hips or your back, undo it. Uncross the legs before you come back to center. Hug the knees in when you get there. Round and curl your spine. Head down. Left leg crosses over right. Grab the ankles, shins or toes. Heels towards your buttocks. Open your arms. Shift your hips left. Let your knees fall to the right. Uncross your legs before you come back to center, and then hug knees to chest, round and curl. Stretch your legs straight up in the air. Lay your head down on the floor. Feel the heaviness of your legs so that the tailbone sinks down. Place your hands to the side of your hips, or some of you will go underneath. Flex and point. And lower your legs about a third of the way. Flex and point. Lower your legs about a third of the way, flex and point. Lower your legs to the floor, rise up on your forearms, lift your heart up. Breathe in, breathe out. Matsyasana, fish pose. So another little sneaky back bend here. Lift your heart up. Again, no weight in your head, all in your forearms, in your legs. Press down. Any variations are welcome. When you're ready, chin to chest. Roll out of it slowly. One more hug of the knees to the chest. If there's anything else you'd like to practice in now, feel free to take it or make your way into your final Shavasana. So I encourage you to find things that if you feel like you need to make other movements. If you're totally ready for that Shavasana, lay on your back. Let your hips splay open. Let your arms reach open. Palms face up. So technically, the hardest pose in yoga, because there's nothing to do. We're so used to doing so much. So lay here and let your body completely surrender. It's okay. Give it the opportunity to do that. Give it permission to do that. I like to say that this is Disneyland, this is where the magic happens. So all the work that we've done up until now bring us to this point. Melt your body into the mat. Allow it to become heavy. have the opportunity to remain in Shavasana, stay there. Shavasana all day. If you are ready to come out of it, start to deepen your breath. Move fingers and toes and wrists and ankles. And make your way onto either side. You choose today which side speaks to you. Bring yourself to a comfortable seat when you're ready. Bring your hands to your heart center. Om Shanti, 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 Om peace, peace, peace. Take a moment and bow down. Honor yourselves first and foremost for being here. And honor the others that came before us, that taught us the teachings. I'm so grateful that you choose to show up. And we support our yoga community together, even in this time of being home. Namaste, Satnam, go in peace. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I hope that you all feel something a little bit better than when you started. Home, stay fit, stay healthy.